everyone, it is Sabra from Hoof and Footfalls. I wanted to take a few minutes to go ahead and give you guys some of my top tips for maintaining instructor certification, how you can obtain CEU hours, and then also some tips as far as keeping track and logging them, especially if you have multiple certifications. A little bit about me: I am a PATH International Advanced Therapeutic Riding Instructor, ESMHL, CTRI, and then I'm also certified through CHA, the Instructor of Riders with Disability Certification, and I'm a Master Instructor through them. I have been having to track my continuing education hours throughout the years of being involved in the organizations, and I can tell you that stuff changes from year to year, but I do want to try to give you guys a quick summary of today. I'm specifically going to be talking about through PATH International and CHA, just because those are the two organizations I'm familiar with and I am certified through. However, a lot of the tips and tricks that I'm going to be giving you guys can apply to other certifying organizations, and if I were to get certified by another organization, these would be the steps I would take to make sure I'm up to date on the information and to keep my certification maintained and up to date. Quick disclaimer, I am not representing the PATH International or CHA office in any way, shape, or form. I am strictly representing myself, Sabra, Hoof and Footfalls, and giving this information to you guys from the perspective of a certified professional in the equine assisted services industry, someone who has had to maintain my certification and certifications for multiple years. And I understand that, especially if you're new to the process and this is the first couple of years that you've had to maintain a certification, it can be a little confusing, or you're not quite sure where to find the information or how to decipher the wording. So hopefully this video is going to help you out on that. Maintaining your certification. The top tip I have is to make sure that you go reference the continuing education and certification maintenance page on your organization's webpage. So CHA has its own, PATH International has its own as well. And yes, I will be specifically talking about each of those, but my top tip is go find it on their website. I will post the links as they are today in the comments below for you guys, so you have a quick reference. But just know if you're watching on a replay down the road that information might change and you might have to go directly to the website and find it. But usually if you check under certifications or education or maintaining certifications, you can usually find that link there for your certifying organization. Let me know too if you guys have any questions. You are free to drop those in the comments. I'm happy to answer any specific questions that you guys might have, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Okay, so make sure you guys find the information relating to your specific organization on the website, because I can tell you, speaking firsthand, things change from year to year. So you want to make sure that you're up to date on how many hours you need to turn in, what those hours look like, and then also what type of education meets the CEU requirements, okay? For the organizations that I'm talking about, so PATH International and CHA, it's a direct one-for-one. So when you go out and you participate in continuing education, so it could be getting riding lessons, you can count that for some organizations. It could be attending an online course or clinic. It could be an in-person course or clinic relating to disabilities or mental health or equines or teaching theory. It could be receiving coaching and feedback for your instructor certification and bettering yourself as an instructor. There's a lot of stuff that meets continuing education requirements, but just know that it's a one-for-one. The other thing to also know that I see a lot of people uncertain about is that you do not have to have your continuing education hours officially approved or broken down, or whatever wording you want to use for that, by your specific organization. So PATH International and CHA, they will often offer a continuing education breakdown on specific events just to make it easy for you to know how to apply those hours. But know that that is not the only way for you to get continuing education hours. There's tons of different ways that you can do it. Most of them have that disclaimer in there that it needs to be from a reputable source. Reading, it doesn't count. It needs to be some type of like video or webinar or in-person type of learning though. So just know that that's kind of a typical way that CEUs are required. It's not reading books and doing quizzes, although those are very good for continuing education and learning. They just may not count towards actual official hours. But I hope you guys are doing education and learning and reading books beyond, above and beyond what you need to do just because it's good for you as an instructor. Okay. So 1-for-1 is that transfer unit. So if you do 1 hour of learning or education, that would be 1 CEU or continuing education unit. If you do half an hour of learning, that's going to be 0.5 or half of a CEU unit. So that's how that breakdown works there. Keep your eye out for things that are not necessarily approved or broken down by PATH or CHA, because that's a more budget-friendly way to do it. YouTube has some resources, like my YouTube channel. A lot of those videos count for continuing education hours for several certifying organizations. The Intuitive Instructor Club, all the videos in there are formatted to meet continuing education requirements. You can even go on non-equine industry YouTube channels, and as long as it's quality information that you're watching and learning from, that could potentially count as CEUs as well. So lots of budget-friendly ways to continue to learn and grow as an instructor. I'll get into the breakdowns in a few minutes because there were some questions about like the specific hour breakdowns, especially as it applies to PATH. I'll get to those in just a minute. But in general, tracking your continuing education information, what I highly recommend is that on whatever calendar platform you use, like I use Google Calendars, I have a specific little calendar breakout that is CEUs. So when I do something that is continuing education, what I will do is I will create an event under that specific calendar. So at the end of the year, I can go ahead and just pull up all of my continuing education, and I'll put the format that it was in. So was it a video, a webinar, an online clinic, an in-person clinic, lessons? So what was the format? Who taught it? Location if it was in person, and then also key learning points from there. And then if I need to, I might break it out into about half the time was like talking about learning theory, half the time was equine, or a quarter of the time was disabilities or mental health, just so that as I go to fill out my continuing education forms for whatever certification I'm doing the maintenance on, I can easily break down and remember those hours on my own, because after a year to 2 years, depending on how frequent you have to renew, you're not going to remember that. So just pop it into your Google Calendar so that you can pull it up. And that's a super easy way to reference the information and be able to fill in your forms at the end of the year every 2 years, or for like CHA every 3 years. So again, know how frequent your renewal is and how frequent you need to turn in your education hours for each of those organizations that you might be certified through. Another way that you could track your hours beyond using like a digital calendar could be to use a Excel template as well. There's a free template that's in the Intuitive Instructor Club. The same template is also in the Barn Hand as well, the planner that I put together for adaptive and therapeutic riding instructors. So there is a little template in there to track your CEU hours, and it guides you on all those things that you should be tracking so that you can easily fill out your continuing education hours at the end of the year. Also a tip, don't overthink it. Like, make sure you apply the event that you attended online or in person to your certification CEU guidelines and requirements, but don't panic and overthink. That's something I see quite a bit is, oh my gosh, is this going to align? If you have something odd that you're not quite sure, just reach out and call the office or email the office, and I'm sure they would be happy to get back to you. But it really is a whole lot easier than what you are probably anticipating. Someone asked, what counts for hours for the PATH ESMHL certification? So again, you're going to go on to the certification renewal website, or the CEU guidelines for PATH International, and they give you a very specific breakdown of the type of hours that you need, how many, and what those breakdowns are. And it could look a little different depending on if you are a CTRI or a therapeutic riding instructor, any level, and ESMHL, or solely ESMHL, or solely an adaptive driving instructor, or interactive vaulting. So what specific hours you need to make sure you align it to what certification you have specifically, or certifications, okay? Because my certifications, Advanced Therapeutic Riding Instructor and ESMHL, is going to look a little different than just someone who is a CTRI. Those hours are broken down though. If you're only an equine specialist in mental health and learning, up-to-date information as of today, but it could change in the future, is that you need 20 hours of CEUs. This is only if you're an ESMHL, not if you're also CTRI. So those 20 hours, you need to turn them in every year, and they need to be 6 hours of DE, which is disability of mental health education, 2 hours of core requirements. So that's going to be more of your like in-person things that relate directly to what you do as an ES. So like horse handling, equine behavior type stuff, that type of education. And then 12 hours of CE, which is just like general continuing education hours, okay? And under that certification, they give very specific breakdowns. If you click the little drop-down menu, it says examples of disability or mental health education hours, and they give very specific examples of what types of learning can fulfill the DE hours, the CR hours, or the CE hours. For those of you that are CTRIs or ATRIs, Advanced Therapeutic Riding Instructors, we have to do our renewal every 2 years, and it's 20 hours of continuing education every 2 years. And then there's also like a little renewal exam that we have to do through PATH as well. The CTRI maintenance form breaks it down for you that you need to have in those 20 hours a minimum of 12 disability education and a minimum of 4 core requirements, so CR. So again, that's like taking horseback riding lessons, getting specific coaching as an instructor to better your teaching, or attending a PATH event where they specifically have broken it down as CR. Along those same lines, someone asked, what does CR all mean? So CR all means that course or that event has been designated to meet core requirement for all types of certification offered by PATH. So ESMHL, driving, vaulting, CTRI, ATRI, all of those. Okay, so that's what CR all means. You might see a one-off every once in a while where it says CR driving or CR vaulting. That would be a core requirement just for that specific certification. So all just means it applies across the board, okay? Where to get CEU? So I already mentioned some of my top ones, but YouTube has a lot of great ones. Think outside the box when it comes to education hours. It doesn't just have to be in the equine industry. There's lots of good information out there. Horses and Humans Research Foundations has some absolutely amazing webinars that are sometimes actually people or like disability or mental health related and equine related, but a lot of equine related. I also believe Hetty has some free information too on their YouTube channel. Intuitive Instructor Club is an online video database, over 160 hours right now of videos that have been specifically made for adaptive and therapeutic riding instructors. So all of those videos in there meet CEU requirements. And you can also follow other, trainers and educators that you like on Facebook and YouTube, and a lot of their videos will likely count. And then videos are great, but I would highly, highly encourage you guys to go do in-person stuff. And a lot of our core requirement hours, the minimum of 4, most of those should be in person. So like you're getting lessons, you're getting coaching and feedback for your teaching. So at least 4 of those are probably going to have to be in person. So budget for the time and budget for the cost of going and getting that in-person continuing education, okay? All right, let me know if you guys have any other further questions or comments. I will put the continuing education guideline links to PATH and CHA down in the comments. And these are just to date. Again, it might change in the future. So make sure that you read and stay up to date on the information, because that's your responsibility as a certified professional. And especially if you are someone who is mentoring or training another person, you need to help teach this person how to maintain their certification. But just remember, don't overthink, keep a track of it, and make sure you just track the key information so that you can fill out your forms later on, and don't panic and overthink. So those are kind of my top tips there. So let me know if you have any other specific questions. Happy to answer. You can put them in the comments, or if you don't want to comment and you want it to be more anonymous, you can definitely message me or email me. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope this information was helpful in giving you guys the top tips to keeping your certifications maintained and up to date, and how to earn CEU hours, how you convert learning hours to CEUs, and then also where you can find some budget-friendly CEUs as well. So I'll see you guys all on the next chat. Thank you guys so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day.